Hello, this is the first edition of the new show, Vermont Today, where we will be talking about issues of importance in Vermont today. My name is Terry Gerolman. My guest here is Ken Lawless. We both live in the city of Burlington. In Iraq, we might consider, how did the whole thing get started? Do you remember that back in 10 years ago, when for the first Gulf War, there was a vote in the Congress whether or not we should intervene to stop Saddam Hussein's invasion of Kuwait. This is not to consider that before his invasion, many people think that the American government encouraged him because Kuwait was originally a province of Iraq, and they had been interfering with the Iraqi oil situation. So there could be considerable argument justifying Saddam Hussein's invasion of Kuwait. But nevertheless, in the Congress, there was a vote. But just before that, there was a Kuwaiti woman that went on TV and described how the Iraqi troops were taking babies out of the incubators and throwing them on the floor to take the incubators to send them back to Iraq. And the vote in the Congress was very close. Can there be any doubt that this woman's testimony, which was broadcast all over the country, influenced that vote? And if it hadn't been for her testimony, the vote would have been the other way, and there would have been no first Iraqi war, no second Iraqi war. And how many people would still be alive today that have been killed?
And she was the daughter of which powerful official?
Yes, she was the daughter of one of the leaders of Kuwait, and it came out after the vote. Well, she's alive. And
yes,
everybody
yes,
agrees now she's alive.
Everyone agrees now she made the whole thing up. Yes, the roots of this go back, as the roots of everything important do, to the Ottoman Turks, who had a vast empire which collapsed at the end of World War I. And then, under protectorates, the British and French simply drew lines of what they would take over and administer on behalf of the people there, instead of allowing the people there to do whatever it was they wanted, and in spite of the promises of, Lawrence of Arabia, etc. So when we got to the situation where Kuwait was drilling slantwise and pumping oil out from under Iraq, which was Saddam Hussein's complaint, and the American ambassador said that we didn't want Saddam Hussein claiming Kuwait, but that we wouldn't interfere if he was only putting a stop to the siphoning out of the oil. This was April Glaspie saying this. But this was without realizing, that if he invaded, it might be popular for the American government to put a stop to him. He was a very nasty dictator. The fact that, many of our people who were senior in the Bush administration had lucrative oil dealings with Iraq and Saddam. They didn't care who owned the oil as long as we got it. So yes, that war, Desert Shield and Desert Storm, probably could have been avoided had cooler heads prevailed and gotten diplomatic negotiations to solve the original problem. And it's hard not to feel that the oil interests, the petroleum interests in the United States want more or less direct control. And I believe the Plan for a New American Century, written by essentially neocons in the 1990s, and also another by Brzezinski, suggested that we need a sphere of influence that runs from the Caspian Sea to the Persian Gulf, that is through Afghanistan and Iran and Iraq, because that's where the oil is and we're going to need it. And that is where the oil is, and we're now killing and dying to get it. And you'll also recall that Bill Clinton's Secretary of State Madeleine Albright was asked on a national television station about the death of 500,000 Iraqi children from the sanctions. And the Secretary of State said that was a price we were willing to pay. But we weren't paying it. Iraqis were paying it, and it wasn't just children who were dying from the sanctions.
Yes, well, we're running out of time now, and I hope that people have learned something by our discussion, and we will have to continue with the next program. You're welcome to send emails. My email address is geroliman@alumni.neu.edu, as you can see printed at the bottom of the screen. And we will see you with our next mission. Thank you.